watching Morning at NTV.
Yes, we're glad you're still with us. For those that went into the break with us, you're watching Morning at NTV. If you're just joining us from wherever you're watching, welcome on board. We are emboldened by your company. We are now going to discuss food security through certifying organic foods as our Kickstarter discussion. And I'm joined by Chariton Namwoza, the Chief Executive Officer at the National Organic Agriculture Movement of Uganda, commonly known as NOGAM. Many thanks for joining us on the program this morning. And how are you doing?
I'm doing well, and thank you very much, my brother, for hosting me here again.
You're most welcome.
I've been here quite a number of times, and it is always exciting to be here.
No doubt.
Yes.
Yes, organic food.
Yes.
First, take me through, and inevitably the audience and those that are watching, what is organic food?
These are foods that have been produced according to the principles of health, the principles of ecology, I'll explain in a moment, the principles of care, and lastly the principle of fairness.
Fairness.
Every product that conforms and that emulates nature and ensures health of the product and those that consume it, and ensures that the environment is clean and is very much in line with the principles of sustainability and fairness, is an organic product. We are talking about a product that has been produced without the use of synthetic chemicals. So you see the principle of health coming in.
That's right.
Products that emulate the cycles, natural cycles, the principle of ecology, the environment, taking care of the environment. We are talking about products that guarantee fairness in terms of how the different entities in the ecosystem relate to each other, how you ensure that a monkey lives in harmony with a tree in the forest, how the soils, you know, benefit the trees, and of course the fact that there has to be benefits that human beings, you know, get from the environment. So every member of the ecosystem must be benefiting from it. So that's what organic is about. It discourages the use of synthetic chemicals, chemicals that are poisonous, chemicals that pollute the environment, and obviously create a lot of issues.
A lot of issues.
So in simple terms, that's what an organic product is.
Let's simplify the terms further, especially for my friends in Butaleja who might be grappling with the entire aspect of organic and, well, inevitably inorganic foods.
Yes.
When a farmer out there is doing what they do, how do they understand the whole ecosystem of organic food production? It's
very simple. Once you understand the do's and the don'ts of organic farming, making sure that you don't apply synthetic chemicals, making sure that you take care of the environment, and all the other aspects that I've highlighted. And again, something to emphasize is that, especially in Uganda here, where traditional farming practices are the order of the day, farmers here clearly know what organic farming means. Actually, most of them,
they are practicing it.
Most of them claim to be organic. But of course, they claim to be organic. But of course, there are other procedures that they must go through to be able to be qualified as organic, and that's where the bit of certification comes in. All right, we shall be speaking certification shortly, but let me first understand the role that maintaining organic farming practices is crucial to food security. First of all, when you do everything possible to follow the principles of organic farming, and under those principles, there are things that you must do. For instance, an organic farmer a certified organic farmer that has gone through capacity building, that knows what exactly to do, is aware that soil fertility management, for instance, as part of complying with the principle of ecology,
that's right,
gives rise to higher yields because a crop or a plant depends on the nutrients in the soil. So when the farmer does everything possible to make sure that the soil is rich in the nutrients that the plant needs, it will obviously translate into increased yields. So security, food security is guaranteed. Where you have a situation where farmers have been trained very well and they know what to do. So the difference here and the controversy that the proponents for conventional farming usually put across is that most of the farmers that consider themselves to be organic don't actually do some of the things that are required to be done to be able to come across as organic farmers. And so where a farmer has, for instance, practiced traditional farming, which is organic by default, and somehow they've been certified as organic, but without paying some of the key things they're supposed to do, like soil fertility management, water management, and all the other things that guarantee yield, it becomes difficult for that farmer to appreciate the benefits, such as having high yields from organic farming principles. But it's very clear that where you have farmers who have been trained, it also means that they will realize very good yields.
Across the country, farmers are engaging in default organic farming, and it could be a bit discomforting when you arrive in the villages and then you begin to tell them, we want to certify you as a farmer who has been doing these things the right way for the last, well, 50 years, because many have taken over farms that were owned by their fathers and grandfathers. How is the certification process going to be effective and not disrupt what is already a default process that is going on across the country?
Because I think it starts by understanding what certification entails. On the contrary, it shouldn't disrupt. It should actually stimulate better practices on the farm, because you have key performance indicators, things that clearly indicate that your practices are truly organic. And when a farmer does everything possible to comply with the organic standard, the do's and don'ts, and apply the right practices, there can't be any disruption, because that is the basis for certification. And there are two forms of certification here. There is what we call the participatory guarantee system, which is very affordable and very inclusive, because you have 4 stakeholders who are involved in verifying the practices of the farmers. You have the farmers themselves, you have representatives of the local leadership, let's say LC1 chairman, you have a representative of the consumer who is interested in that product, and you have an extensionist who is building the capacities of these farmers to, let's say, practice organic farming. So they come together and verify the practices of the farmers and guarantee that the practices are organic. And that is the first form of certification which is accepted and recognized globally. Though it's mostly for the local organic markets. Now, the second form of certification, which is quite expensive, that we commonly call the third-party certification, is done by internationally accredited certification bodies. So you can see the difference. The internationally certified accredited bodies, certification bodies, send an auditor to the farm or the factory or the premises of the operator who wants to attain organic certification. And that auditor checks everything against what the standard says. If it's a farmer, for instance, they'll check their farm against the different aspects that, of course, emanate from the 4 principles of organic farming that I've already highlighted. So that way, the auditor is able to generate a report based on the findings, which then is the basis for giving the farmer the certification or denying him the certification. So these two forms of certification are currently the only globally recognized certification schemes. And we as an organization, we're doing everything possible to promote the participatory guarantee system.
Because it's what works for the people here? For
the smallholder farmers, for starters, yeah. Because it's all inclusive, it's affordable. Third-party certification, on the other hand, is of course accepted in the international markets, and that's what, when you hear most of the, that we have, let's say, 200,000 certified organic farmers, it's mostly, we are mostly talking about the third-party certification. Yeah. So now we want to focus a little more on the, not a little more, we want to focus more on the participatory guarantee system.
All right, there are many people today who look at organic farming as less yielding. In other words, if they are to apply a few tricks here and there, they could make a lot more harvests on their foods. If they maintain organic practices, then the harvests are going to remain low. How is this fear or reluctance to adopt, or not a reluctance to adopt, but the tendency to quickly transition from organic farming to farming that helps improve yields, especially when it comes to the amount of produce? There are those who will be looking at organic farming and what you're trying to do as well. That doesn't bring a lot of yields, because at the end of the day, you're not doing anything to improve the quantity and the quality. I think we better go for the alternative. How is this going to be tackled?
It's actually not true that organic yields are that low, because when you look at what farmers do, because what you do, the kind of practices that you do on your farm are the ones that translate either into low yields or high yields. If you're not doing much to ensure soil fertility in the soil, you cannot expect miracles.
Let me give you an example.
Yes.
I have moved to places where you find a mango tree as long as 4 feet. Can you imagine?
Yes.
A mango tree.
I can imagine. Yeah. I think I've seen even
4 feet, and it has over 250 fruits.
Yes.
We've grown up knowing a mango tree will go high up there, that you need to actually climb it to get some of the fruits off. That is organic. Now these ones that are 4 feet and have 200 fruits, there is something that has been done. You know, that is the yield angle that I'm trying to talk about.
Well, you're talking about the different technologies, such as grafting, which obviously will lead to some of those, let's say, particular varieties. A short mango tree, or a shorter mango tree, compared to the ones that we know, the traditional ones. But just to go back to the other point, and I'll come back to this later. We have companies now in Uganda that are manufacturing certified organic inputs that guarantee nearly the same quantity of yields like the synthetic chemicals. Yeah. There is a big rice project somewhere in Lukaya. They used some certified organic fertilizers from one of the companies which is our member. And in their trials, they actually found out that the organic yields give slightly more, depending on how exactly you've applied, than the synthetics. Okay. Now, of course, that depends. In some cases, especially when you're just getting started, it's unlikely that the yields will be as high compared to the conventional yields.
All right, Mr. Charlton, time is not our best ally. Allow me ask you on the upcoming events for the next week and the certification awards, something like that. Yeah. What is going to happen?
So my organization, NOGAM, which is an umbrella organization that brings together all the stakeholders in the organic sector. We're talking about the input manufacturers that I've just highlighted, the producers or farmers, processors, exporters, community-based organizations, and all other stakeholders who are involved in promoting organic agriculture, is organizing an event. It's the first of its kind. We've dubbed it the Organic Agriculture Week.
Organic Agriculture
Week, with a number of activities. And the first activity, interestingly, starts today, in 2 hours, from now. We are unveiling the Organic Statistics Report, the updated Organic Statistics Report, which obviously shows how the sector has progressed over the years. The second activity will be the dialogue on organic fertilizers, to ensure that we get different actors together to be able to understand what we have in Uganda in terms of organic fertilizers and other inputs, but most importantly, how to forge our way forward and grab the opportunity born by the Ukraine war, where it is increasingly becoming difficult to import synthetic
seeds and
fertilizers and other inputs. And the last thing that we'll be doing is what we've dubbed the Uganda Organic Excellence Awards, where we'll be recognizing different actors across the different levels of the value chain. Farmers, processors, trainers, exporters, those that have made significant contributions to the sector.
All right. Chariton Namwoza, the Chief Executive Officer at the National Organic Agriculture Movement of Uganda, Nogamu there. Many thanks for the insight and perspective on what's happening across the country as far as organic farming is concerned. We shall take a break and return with another conversation on the renaissance of local film industry as of 2022. It's one of rich conversations that we are having, and of course we'll be looking forward to understanding how everything is rolling out there. Stay with us.